Oi oi. This month you join me at perhaps the best looking carp fishery in the UK. We're at Acton Burnell in Shropshire, which is run by RH Fisheries, where there's two lakes. There's the upper lake and the lower lake, and all I can say is this place is absolutely breathtaking, it really is. Now today we're going to be fishing 48 hours on the lower lake, where there's carp to 48 pounds. So let's go and have a look round and see what's available. The lower lake is roughly 6 or 7 acres in size, and it's got a carping history dating back over 30 years. In the past it has produced fish to over 55 pounds, but today the biggest is a mirror known as the Randall fish, weighing in at 48 pounds. There's roughly 10 or 11 original carp still in here, most of which are over 30 pounds, and backing those up are some western stockies that were put in at 5 or 6 pounds that are now weighing into mid-30s. There's also a selection of smaller fish around the double figure size that have been recently stocked that are coming on nicely. But all in all, it represents a challenging water, so the objective today is just to catch one fish, and I must say conditions look certainly favourable for us to do that. This place is a typical old estate lake because it's surrounded by trees and there's loads of silt on the bottom. Now the dam wall is down here to the left, which is the deepest part of the lake, and that runs down to the shallows down on the right. Now I have already been round the lake and had a look round, and I can say that the majority of the fish that are on show are down towards where I'm zooming in now. They're not quite in the shallows, they're just short of it, where there's a lot of weed. So I've already made my mind up about where I'm going to fish. I just don't know exactly which swim I'm going to start from. So we'll go around to that area now and make a decision. This one's known as the shallow swim, and it's probably one of the best looking ones on the lake because it's surrounded by trees, and you've got that lovely set of lily pads on the far bank where there's always fish. Now, when I was walking around earlier, most of the fish were around to the left of where the pads are, so I'm probably going to rule this one out, despite the fact that it's got some lovely bays around here to the right where there's at least 2 or 3 foot of depth and there's loads of overhangs. I have seen 1 or 2 fish in this bay, but they've all been little. The majority of the bigger ones are in the next door swim, which is known as the pontoon, and that's the one I'm probably going to go and fish. So this is the pontoon then, and where the fish have been showing is about 3/4 of the way across where there's quite a lot of weed. Now there have been 1 or 2 backs sticking out of the water when I was walking around earlier, some decent sized ones, and I also saw a big fish crash out in that area as well. So you can just see that ring there. Can't see any carp on show at the moment, but that's where they were showing earlier. So this is probably the swim that I'm going to start from because it's got loads of different options. It's got that rod round to the right in the shallower water, and it's got a rod on the edge of the weed where the carp have been showing, and it's also got the option to put a roving rod out here to the left as well. So yeah, it's looking good. I'm certainly very confident, but I've got to get myself set up quickly because it's due to rain any minute. So let's get the stuff out of the car and get the rods out. I can't tell you how good it feels at the moment because this only comes through many years of carp fishing. At the moment it really does feel like mega big fish conditions. We've got low pressure, low cloud, the odd rumble of thunder in the air, light drizzle, bit of rain, and fish showing. And the beginning here is due out. He's been out before in June and he's not been caught since I think early spring, and he's at least a couple of times, 3 times a year fish. So yeah, fingers crossed. It definitely looks good, really does, and it feels good as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, let's put it that way. Wouldn't surprise me. Well, you can tell from the battle scars on this one's flanks that it's one of the older stock. But the right fight on a very wet morning. But it doesn't matter how many times you fish in the summer months, nothing can prepare you for the British summertime weather, because the forecast was for light rain for about an hour, and it's now been raining relentlessly for 24 hours, and everything is soaked. Behind the bivvy at the moment it's like a quagmire, and I've got my car parked right behind me, so that could be fun trying to get that out in 24 hours time, because it's already looking like it's very squelchy. It was alright when I got here, but I'm the only one on the lake, so I suppose there's a bit of an excuse there for me to stay a little bit longer than the 48-hour rule. But I'm on my third set of clothes as well. Good job I always keep a spare set in the car, and I don't care though, I'm happy, I'm loving it. I'm on fish, they're feeding. It still feels really good for a big fish at the moment. The conditions are prime for it. As I said, the last time I was on the bottom lake was when I caught Bill, which was probably about 8 or 9 years ago, and the conditions on that occasion were just like they are now. Really low cloud, with the cloud touching the hills in the distance just behind where the castle is, and that's what it's like over there now. As I look across the lake, it's really atmospheric, and I do feel like there's still a really good chance of a big fish. And it's fishing well, mostly getting all my bites on the one rod, which is the left hand rod, but some guys will probably just pack up in this weather and go home. But for me, when you get that buzz and that feel that something is about to happen, it's a great feeling to have, because I'm sat here now knowing that any minute one of those rods could burst into life, and when you get that, it's fantastic. You sit and wait all season really for these moments, and you know, it's now here, and we'll try and make the most of it while I can. Well, I'm having a real good day today. It's been a really hectic morning. I've had 4 fish in the last, well, hour and a half, and this is the best of them so far. And it just shows that the future of Acton Bottom Lake is really good, because there's some lovely scaly mirrors in here now. And these have grown on from only a few pounds, and this one's weighed in at 28. I'm sure you'll agree that is a really nice carp. At last it stopped raining, and it's given me a chance to move swim, because there was that niggling little voice at the back of my mind telling me I needed to be in the swim to the left of where I was. Now all of the better fish that I was catching came on my left hand rod, and all of the shows off the better fish as well were towards the middle part of the lake. So now I'm one swim down to the left, I'm certainly more accessible to those bigger fish that have been showing. So as you're looking at the swim now, my right hand rod is where I was fishing my left hand rod in the other swim, and I've now got a decent bed of bait, about 100 baits or so on the middle rod, and then the left hand rod, that's just fished with 2 or 3 offerings around it. So they're all at different depths as well. The right hand rod I've got in 4.5 foot, then the middle rod's in 5 foot, and then the left hand rod's in 5.5 foot. Out in the middle there it is really clear, and what you've got is the old riverbed in the 5.5 foot area. So they're all over firm drops as well, which I'm quite happy with. So I'm fishing just standard bottom baits on all 3 rods, and I've moved them all to SLK as well, because certainly the SLK seems to be very accessible on this lake. I did use some of the Nutter S yesterday, and that's the only rod I didn't get any bites on. So all 3 of them have gone to the SLK, and yeah, all 3 rods are out and I'm very happy with the new swim, and I feel as though I've got a better chance here of a better fish because, you know, all 3 rods could possibly go tonight. That's the idea anyway. That's the reason why I've moved up here. And I sensed that the better fish wouldn't come past where I had my left hand rod in the other swim. So yeah, sometimes you just got to work on instinct, and that's what I'm doing now. And by the end of my session tomorrow, 24 hours later, we'll see if it's worked. Here's a look at the rig that I'm using then, and we've got £15 Avid outline as the main line, and then that's through to a simple lead clip, and on that we've got a 4-ounce lead. And then for the hook link, this is the captive coated hook link where I've taken all of the coating off, so we're just left with this nice supple braid. And then on the end we've got a size 6 hook which is not as knotted, with a liner. Then we've got a simple 18mm bottom bait that finishes it all off. Well, this one has come out the blue, and it just proves that the change of swim has certainly paid off. A 33-pound mirror right in the middle of the afternoon. Fantastic. This month's product plug is going to be about my rods, because I get a lot of people messaging me asking me which rods I use. Now, I use 2 types of rods these days. The first is a smaller rod, which is a 10-footer known as the Exodus rod. Now that particular rod is only priced at 40 quid, and I'll use that rod for when I'm fishing in really enclosed places, or I'm stalking carp up close, or when I'm needing to put a rod in a hold door and get it on a plane, such as last year when I went to Morocco. Now they're a really great rod for what you're paying for, but the rods that I use for 99% of the time are the ones you're looking at now, which are the extremity rods. Now these are the 12-foot 3.5 pounders, and as you can see, they're a cracking looking rod. They've got the full Duplon handles, they've got the Fuji fittings right the way through to the tip rings. Now I wouldn't categorise these rods as an out-and-out casting tool. I'd place them in the category as a general carping rod, because they're great for playing fish on, and they're also really good for casting long range. This year I've used them on small waters like Spitfire Pool, where I was playing a 50-pound common in really close, and I've also used them on places like Girton, where you're casting in excess of 150 metres to get on the fish. So if you're in the market for a well-priced carp rod, you can pick these up for about 170 quid each online. They're called the Extremity Carp rods, and you can find out further details at avidcarp.com. That'll do. It's not a small one, but it's not a monster. That'll definitely do. Lovely. It's fair to say that this lake is fishing its head off at the minute, because it's normally by no means easy, and we're having it away because this is the 7th fish that I've caught, and it's the biggest one so far at 35 pounds. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised myself. But it just goes to show, simple tactics on the right day, you can have a result. One of the things I'm always trying to do is stay one step ahead of the fish and work out what's going on in front of me. And yesterday when I was in the next door swim, it was pretty obvious that the majority of the fish were out in the middle part of the lake. All of the bites that I had off the better carp came on my left hand rod, and that's the main reason why I moved into this swim here, because I've now got 3 rods in the area where I think the majority of the fish are. But today's a different day to yesterday, and when I analyse things in this swim, the one thing that stands out to me more than anything is that all of my bites are coming on my left hand rod again. So the way my carpy brain's working now is it's telling me that the fish don't like these tight lines that are going straight out in front. They're basically cutting the fish off from going from left to right. Now, I could change from tight lines to slack lines or back leads, but the problem is that those 2 methods, back leads and slack lines, as Rob Hughes proved quite a few years ago in carpology, the indication isn't always as sensitive as it is with tight lines. There's the possibility the fish picks the bait up and moves 10, 15, 20 or even 30 yards or more before you've had any indication. And in this swim, what we've got is quite a lot of weed dotted about, and the last thing I want to be doing is giving those carp the momentum to get into it. So what I'm going to do is stick with these tight lines, because at the moment the fish that I'm hooking, I'm landing. I haven't lost a fish and it's working for me. And if there's one thing I've learned more than anything in carp fishing over the years, it's don't try and fix something that's not bust. So I'm going to stick with it. Alright, we've got a little bit of a situation here going on, because the 2 swans and their babies, there's one there and there's another couple of them hiding a little bit further along the bank, are stuck behind the otter fence. And it looks like this little baby here can't walk very far. Now, they've probably got through the fence underneath it somewhere, because it's not actually permanently fixed. There he's walking at the minute. It's not actually permanently fixed in place, because it's just been put up, this has. And they've been here for quite a while, so we're now going to try and resolve the problem and help them get through the fence and back into the lake. But how me and Andy are going to do it is what we've got to try and work out. We'll do it somehow, mate. Now, Andy's just come up with a wicked idea, because there's a little gate just round the corner from here, which is better than my solution. So what I think we're going to do is I'm going to jump the fence and try and walk them through the gate. I've got the one baby in my hands and the other one's walking. Go on, we're not going to hurt them. Go on, go on. I'll have to pick the other one up now, unless she's going to walk. We've worked it out. Andy's got the 2 babies now in his hands, and we're going to walk the mum and dad up to this gate here. The gate, that's it, Dad. Right, the dad's through the gate, mate. And the finishing piece of the jigsaw is that the mother is now on the lake as well. Well, the dad's up that end of the lake, up there with the babies, and it won't take long for Mummy to join them. One happy swan family and a successful swan rescue. So we've come to the end of the trip, and it's been another cracking trip. I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out, because make no bones about it, this particular lake is not easy at all. There's not many carp in here these days, and there's certainly not many originals. So to have caught 3 of those out of 7 fish catch in 48 hours, I'm really happy. And it once again proves that with a simple approach, if you put the effort in and you time it right, you can have a right result. So all that's left for me to do now is to get myself packed away, and I think before I leave, what I'm going to do is have a quick run around the local area, because I've got a nice 8-mile route round here through the country lanes where you hardly see anybody. Last time I did it, I saw 5 cars all on the country roads, and one of those was a repeat, which is the post van. So that's what I'm going to do now. But I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I hope you'll join me again in a few weeks' time for my next vlog.